This is West Tigers Radio, broadcasting live after a heartbreaking 8-6 loss to the Titans on the Gold Coast. And Eddie Otto, it doesn't get much tougher than that.
Yeah, it sure was, Joel. Joined by the boys, Declan, Gary and Steve. Watched the game at West Lees Club. Looked like it was going to be our first win of the season, Gary, but it was a late sting in the tail, unfortunately, and left a lot of fans heartbroken, I'm sure.
Yeah, I found that loss quite a hard one to deal with. It was really a heartbreaking way to lose the game, to fight and keep the score such a low-scoring game, no tries, and then to lose it in that manner really, really hurt. I really think we saw what the quality of our team is tonight. It's not a great quality team, but they fought tonight, and to walk away with a loss like that, I think all of us in our heart kind of knew towards that last couple of minutes that was a possibility, but when it unfolded, it really hit home.
Fairly cruel, Steve. It's almost typical West Tigers. I mean, that kick for all money, going straight down that Laurie's throat, takes a ricochet off the post, and then Doc Madden's there to clean it up and gets the ball sort of knocked down, and that's 2 points down the drain.
Yeah, Eddie, sadly, it's almost to be expected. You know, losing becomes a habit for players. I think losing becomes a habit for fans as well, and you're just sort of waiting for something to go wrong. And even with seconds to go, it wasn't totally unexpected that the ball hits the post, ricochets. We don't just ground it when we get it like you'd expect any other team to do in any other situation. There has to be an encore to it, and there was tonight, and we walk away with duck eggs.
Declan, what did you make of the game overall? It was a strange game. Obviously, it wasn't the highest quality game, a bit like last week, but again, the effort was there throughout. No tries until that very bitter end.
Yeah, look, I think this game is going to go down as one of the most rough games to watch, probably in this century, to be honest. It was just, to be fair, I think the quality was really bad in the first half. I thought it picked up in the second half, and both teams, they didn't play great, but it was a little bit better. But oh my goodness, I'm just devastated right now. Honestly, like that's the only way to describe this game, is pure.
Yeah, I think that's because we know, Gary, that it's going to be a really long year, and I think we spoke on the podcast on Wednesday that it could be a 2 or 3 or 4 win season, and we've had 4 games that were realistic. We knew we were a chance, whereas there's going to be games this year where we know we're not a chance to win. So I think that's why everyone was devastated. Not because it's going to cost us a top 8 spot, but it was just one of those chances to win a game, which may be few and far between looking at next month's of fixtures.
Yeah, and I think the fan base and the club kind of needs that win to get rid of some of that negativity, and I think we're all kind of feeling it, that kind of pressure. I think the club's probably feeling it. I think the players are probably feeling it. And as I said last week, and as Steve said a moment ago, when you get used to losing, you find a way to lose a game, and we found a way to lose that game tonight. The hard thing is you look through the side, and though we didn't attack very well, there really wasn't any player that you can pinpoint as being really poor tonight. I thought they all had a go. They all had decent games, and we walk away with nothing and losing in that manner. I think there's going to be a lot of, not just Declan tonight, but I think there's a lot of devastated Tigers fans around the country at the moment.
Not sorry for Doc Madden, Declan, because I thought he had a pretty good game. It was noticeable in that first half that he was taking a lot of the kicking duty. He was doing a lot of the barking out there, and that was, didn't want that to happen to anyone, but let alone him.
Yeah, you do feel bad. He's still pretty much a rookie, and I thought he was the better half tonight. I thought he did a really good job of getting Luciano Leilua more ball on that edge. So I thought he played really well, and I'm definitely not blaming the loss on him, that's for sure.
We were a bit worried, Steve, with 4 minutes to go when Luke put the kick in front. I suppose it didn't really come down to that because we the short kick-off back. But that was a decision where I thought they could have sucked up another minute and a half and made Gold Coast go 90 metres.
I thought they were actually controlling the end of the game reasonably well. There was a couple of sets before that moment where we did just go one out with forward, quick play the balls, another forward running forward, another quick play the ball, then a good kick down to the corner. We did that for 2 sets in a row, and I was thinking we are actually controlling the game. That moment for the 2 points, I can understand why they took it. But in the last 5 minutes where there's time off for everything, there wasn't a great time off advantage there. There definitely wasn't a buffer points advantage. So I agree with you, Eddie. I think the correct call, which is easy in hindsight, would have been to tap it and run and try to get a repeat set on their line, or at the very least have the Titans coming off their line. But they didn't, and we know what happened.
Harry, looking at some of the positives again, you're going to have to this year. It wasn't a high game. Probably get beat by a lot of sides by a lot more tonight, but defensively didn't concede a try to that last 30 seconds. I think 2 of the Warriors' tries were off kicks last week. I think Newcastle's first 2 tries were off kicks. So it's not like this team is a basket case defensively. They are putting in.
I think defensively we've actually improved quite a bit on last year. When you have a look at this time, have a look at the end of last season, I think we were averaging 30 points a game against us. We're well away from that at the moment. So defensively, I think we're doing quite well. Attack, we look quite poor. We're slow. We're predictable. We're running a lot of those block plays that we've been talking about a lot, and way too much side-to-side movement without plays hitting through the middle. So I think defensively we've improved a lot, but we're still really poor with the ball in hand.
Yeah, I thought Declan, probably outside of Madden, the main guys in the spine struggled again, a little bit predictable. Payne Laurie didn't get the ball in the best spots. Jacob Little, a couple of silly errors when we were on the attack, just taking the wrong option. The game was there for the taking. There were times when the Gold Coast looked like we could put them away earlier than we did, or than we nearly.
I think 80% of teams would have won by at least 3 tries tonight, honestly. I was actually talking to someone next to me at the game, and I was like, do you reckon the Penrith Panthers would just watch this game and attack and just laugh, because it doesn't look like they're in the same competition to the top teams. The attack was just absolutely horrendous. There was no structure to what we looked like we were trying to do, or at least they didn't execute any of it. It was just absolutely pedestrian, and it's just incredible to believe that we've fallen this far from that attacking team when Benji Marshall and Robbie Farah are playing, where we can't even score a try for an entire game. That's pretty sad, and it's a massive concern.
I wouldn't say it looks like we're playing in a different competition. We're playing a different sport to what those top sides are playing. The total way that we play is completely different to how those top teams are playing. They're running hard. They're going through the middle. We're going side to side, throwing in the odd block play. We're very cumbersome, very clunky in attack. Now, we do have Hastings out at the moment, but I think his replacement played quite well. So I'm really worried about once we come up against one of those strong sides. I think we've got Parramatta coming up. I think they're a side that could really cause us a lot of trouble. They play the modern game of football really well. We're still playing football from a couple of years ago, so I don't even think we're playing the same sport as the top teams.
Election, I think, Steve. Obviously, it's a week away. We get Muller next week, and Hastings, in the Tigers' wisdom, decided to challenge that, so he's copped a week. But you could make an argument for when he does come back to be partnered alongside Jock Madden. I don't think it's a straightforward swap, given the way he played tonight.
No, Jock Madden was strong, especially in the first half. He seemed to be the dominant half. It looked to me that he was doing a lot of the controlling. He was definitely doing a lot of the kicking. And so I think you're right. It's not just straight up Brooks and Hastings. I noticed Brooks went in at dummy half a little bit there tonight. That was only, I think, because Peachy was off. So whether they're thinking anything there, I'm not sure. But Madden didn't do, himself any problems at all tonight. He, showed that he's capable, and he showed in the last couple of weeks that given a little bit of time to settle in, he is first-grade quality.
Declan, Jack Roberts, I thought he had a good game tonight. A couple of times went through, almost half went through, was tackled and then went through. He looks stronger and a little bit faster this year. Are we getting a better ball, or is he just found something, a bit of confidence?
I think we're giving him a lot better ball, to be honest. And I think that, I don't know, he still looks like he's carrying a little niggling injury. But, yeah, I don't know. You're right, though. He just looks like a completely different player. But I do think we've given him more space to kind of show what he can do. And I would love to give him a rap in his defence on David Fafita. I thought it was exceptional. He got up in his face, shut him down most times. And, he bumped him off once, but it didn't stop him from going. So, full credit to James Roberts and that defensive effort. He was probably my man of the match, to be honest, if I was to pick someone from the Tigers.
Yeah, that's a good point, Declan. I looked with a couple of minutes to go and I saw Fafita and I barely remember him doing anything, Gary, and that's obviously the job they did, not just Roberts, but just on that right-hand side of cutting him game.
Any game where we've got Andrew Fafita running at us, he's the type of player that worries me. I said it on the pod that we recorded last night that I was definitely worried about coming up against him. They did handle him very well. The key with the big man is you get up and hit him early. You don't give him time to get moving. And I thought our line speed allowed us to control him fairly well tonight. And like Declan, I do have the defence of Roberts tonight. Even in that last set, there was a second effort of getting across, of moving off his centre and picking up the winger that someone dropped off. That sort of stuff, that second effort is really, really crucial. And it's good to see him doing that. That to me shows how committed he is at the moment. So I think it's good for our team.
I think if we're going to talk defence, Luke Garner's got to get a mention as well. He was very strong in defence again tonight, the same as last week. And it's not just that he's making tackles, it's the way he's making tackles. He's really hitting hard. He's made some huge improvements defensively and is one of our strongest defenders. And I would challenge to say that he was also close to, Tigers man of the match, or at least one of our better players tonight.
Something really good that we really need to watch out for, though, is we can say our defence has improved over the last couple of weeks, but we played the Warriors and the Titans. We've got a run coming up, I think it's Cronulla next week, where we're going to start playing some of those stronger sides, and I think that's really going to be telling of where our defence is at the moment. I think, yes, it's great to give credit at the moment, but it may be a little bit premature when you have a look at the run we've got coming up over the next month.
Yeah, tough run starting with Cronulla next week. Declan, anyone in the forward pack stand out tonight? It was a pretty up and back game. Definitely not the game I was expecting from the Tigers and the Titans.
Yeah, I thought the forward pack as a whole was very reliable. The only time that the Titans really burst up the middle was when Will Smith went from dummy half. That was about it. I thought they were all pretty good. I thought Tamou, he was good. Obviously, both edge back rowers, Kilma Tuilagi, Luciano Leilua, and then Luke Garner, when he came on, he was really strong as well. I wouldn't say any of them were a standout, but I thought they all did a pretty good job and probably set a fair enough platform to win the game for us, to be honest.
Gary, where do we go from here? Obviously, it's going to be a long turnaround to Cronulla. I think, on the podcast during the week, we worried, I think all of us were worried that, the effort that we saw against the Warriors might not be replicated. Well, it was, so I think we could be proud, even though the side's 0-4. But I think it was just, it was almost, my main emotion was just feeling sorry for the whole club tonight, watching that in the last minute, because it doesn't matter if it's the worst game in the world, they just needed a win.
Yeah, and what we need at the moment is we need a little bit of luck to fall our way so we can fall over the line in a game like tonight. The Titans dropping the ball like we did at the end of the game, that's what we need to win the game at the moment. We need something to go our way to kind of get us over the line. The really hard thing now is we've played fairly well for the first 3 out of the 4 games. Where the effort's been there in 3 out of the 4 games. The execution hasn't been there, but the effort's been there. And I said through the week that I'm worried that if the boys don't get a result from that effort, that history shows that we're fairly mentally weak and we may give up. That's my concern over the next month. The next month's going to be really, really tough for us, and effort isn't going to win games. Effort hasn't won games for us yet this season, but we're playing some classy sides over the next 4 weeks, and I'm really worried about what's going to happen, because if you have a look, the Titans weren't great tonight, the Warriors weren't great the week before, Newcastle weren't great when they beat us, and Melbourne weren't great when we played them, and we still haven't got a win. We're facing some really tough teams coming up, and if we can't beat those sides that are off their game, if we hit one of those sides in form, I do worry about what's actually going to happen. Whether we can contain one of the top 4 teams, I think we could be in for a little bit of trouble, especially if we can't score points. And I think before we jumped on, Joel said to me, I think it's up to 124 minutes or something without us scoring a try. We need to rectify that and rectify that quickly. We're just far too clunky and far too slow in attack.
Well, Steve, Cronulla next week, ordinarily you'd probably say we're going to go into that game as massive underdogs. Is there anything, what's the message from Madge tonight, do you think, to his players? Obviously he's probably gutted, and they're all probably gutted in there, but is it back to the drawing board in terms of the attack, have to make some changes, or it's a luck have to fall our way, like Gary said?
Well, in Madge's words, it'd be trust the process. He says it all the time. But in this case, he's actually probably not far from the truth. The effort is there. The execution has to improve, especially in attack. But there's not much more they can do. There's not a lot of changes they can make. Riddled with injury, they've got to hang tough, hang together, trust in each other, which is that trust the process, part of that anyway. Trust in each other, trust that what they're doing at training will work, and that the tide will turn, and that some luck will come our way. That's all they can do. Get in there and training, have fun together, put this behind them as best they can, and get on with working out a way to beat the Sharks next week with the 17 blokes they've got available to them.
And even if the next month is tough, even if we go through the next month and we still haven't won a game, this is a really make or break period for the club. If we go in and 2 weeks' time we've kind of given up for the season and the effort just disappears that we've seen, that's really bad for the club. Like that puts us in a terrible position, not just as a footy team, but as a football club. We've got 3/4 of the season still to go at that point. What we need to do is I don't think we're going to win these next couple of games, but we need to show up ready to play. The effort needs to be there. The fight needs to be there. And even if we're down by 20 in the last couple of minutes of a game, we need to show that we're committed and that we're playing for each other. If we do that over the next month, that can be a building point, maybe not for this year, but for next season when we have some more players coming in and things turn around. This month can be really defining for this club, and that's what I'm looking for over the next month, whether we're going to fight or whether we're going to turn up our toes and die. I think that's what we're going to see in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, well, I'm with Declan. There's no promotion and relegation over here, so I mean, we don't want to run last, but there's no real consequence of running last as opposed to running 13th or 14th or 15th. Like the boys said, though, if you see that effort the next 2, 3, 4 weeks and we don't get a result, as a fan, I think you can cop it on the chin.
Oh, I disagree. I think that the way this club has went about their business these past 12 months, just nothing short of just absolutely disgraceful. And this is Madge's 4th year as coach, and this is the kind of performances we're getting. It's just disgraceful, honestly. I was talking more about just Declan. I mean, you got to concede the effort out there tonight. They're pretty unlucky to lose that game, even though it was a low standard game. I know you fired up, but it's hard to beat racks. But don't we
minutes after a game?
Don't we deserve better than that as fans, though? Than to yes, they were trying, but they still lost. And the Titans were playing absolutely terribly as well. Don't we deserve better as fans of the club than a performance like that, where we have to be satisfied with, oh, they tried hard? That's just not on. That's disgraceful.
You're 100% right, Declan. The issue is we've got this squad now. This squad isn't a strong squad. And what's going to happen if you put yourself in a position where you're only accepting winning at the moment, this team's going to kill you this season. This team isn't anywhere near a top 8. We're a bottom 2 team. So what I want to see moving forward is us building something and building that commitment and building that resilience. That means we have a platform to build off next year. We're round 4, and yes, we're no chance of playing semi-finals football. We'll be lucky to be out of the bottom 2. In all likelihood, we're probably going to run dead last this year. So I need to see something for us that we're going to build on next year.
Yeah, but Gary, my only concern is that if we give the club the excuse that they're trying and we're satisfied with that, the club will take that. They'll run with that. You know, they won't. We have to hold the club accountable here because they have failed this season for us in their preparation already. We can't just say like, oh, they tried hard. Let's get behind the boys. Like, no, that's just not on. We have to tell them this isn't good enough. This is, I don't know, like the 11th year in a row where we haven't played finals footy. And like, it's not the fact we haven't played finals footy. It's the fact that we're worse now than we were last year. You know what I mean? There's nothing I can look at and say like, oh, like this is what we can build on for this season anyway. It's honestly mind-boggling.
Look, the squad that we've put forward this year is not good enough, and that's on the coach, that's on the club, that's on recruitment. The squad we've put together is not good enough. But you know what? That's also not the squad's fault. The players are going out there and they're putting in the effort, but they're not the ones who signed all these players. They're not the ones that made that kind of thing. So I can separate that a little bit. I'm not happy with the club. I'm not happy with the squad we've got, but I can sympathise with the players if they go out there and they put the effort in to win games, even though we've got a terrible roster, even though we've got a terrible spine, and even though we've got terrible coaching. If the effort is there, I can walk away and accept it on the players' behalf. I'm not accepting it on the club's behalf. So I do agree with you that the club needs to do better in putting a side forward, but we've got to start making progress. We're talking about hitting rock bottom. I want this to be rock bottom, and we start building from there. And we've got this squad now. There's nothing we can do about that. We're going to run where we're going to run this year, and it's going to be down near the bottom. But I want to see some positives moving forward from here.
All right, Boyd. Well, it's been torture, to be honest, doing this the last 20 or 25. If anyone listening can see the boys' faces, which you can't, it's very much down in the dumps. It was like the air went out of the balloon when we were at West Leeds Club and then the Gold Coast scored in the last minute. So thank you, boys, for sticking around and doing this podcast. Heads up, we'll talk to you all soon.
Cheers, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.